So we're getting ready to take the differential out. The differential is mounted, this is actually the back half of the differential, and it has built into it a mount. And there are four bolts that go through the top of this cross member here down into that mount to hold the differential on. In addition to that, in the front, we have a mount, and you can see there's the snubber bushing is right here, goes through the cross member on the frame. There's a bracket welded to the frame that holds that on. And then there's two bolts right here. They're kind of hard to see, but they're in there. They've got castle nuts with cotter pins, and they're through bolts that go to the other side. So I believe those are 5/8, both of those. And we're going to go see if we can get those out. We can, it's just a matter of how much effort it is. Everything can come out one way or another. Maybe not the way you'd want it to, but they all come out. There's two little plates on either side of this bracket too that are welded to that bracket that kind of right here kind of reinforce it. If I can dig in and get the head of the cotter pin and start it moving. Get the tip of the pick in there, but all I'm doing is bending the tip. The back one seems a little more friendly. Probably enough room in there to get the needle nose plier tip through it. Try with the pick first. See if we can get it started to move. Not really. We're going to try to get the tip of the needle nose pliers through there. Bang on it a little bit with the hammer, which I have over here somewhere. Awkward angle here. Well, it broke the cotter pin in half, right at the loop. So I'm going to have to see what I can do with that. Maybe a pair of vice grips on it. It did move some before it broke, so progress. I don't think I'm strong enough to just grip this by hand and pull it out. This is what I hate about cotter pins, because once they get broken off in there, difficult to get out. Sometimes if they're deteriorated enough, what you can actually do is just put the impact wrench on it and spin it, and if they're rusted enough, it'll just break off. But these are going to take a bit of work. I will shut the camera off and let you know what was successful once I get some progress. So I dug away at those cotter pins best as I could with a little nail set, and more of the cotter pins broke off, but I'm not sure that enough broke off for the impact wrench to work. Let me give it a try. The 5/8 wrench wouldn't even come close to fitting on the ain't that something. Oh, that's a 9/16. That's too small. For sure. There's a 5/8. Okay, so it is 5/8 on the bolt side. See what it is on this side. I couldn't get the 5/8 socket on. So no, this is probably 11/16. The problem is there's probably still a tiny bit of the cotter pin sticking up out of that hole. It doesn't want to go on easily. I'll leave enough of a gap under there that I can get a screwdriver under it to pry it off if this doesn't work. Okay, set to off. Let's give her a go. Son of a gun. Worked. The bolt is very much free on the other end, or going through the mount. Let's hope we have that kind of success on the other one. I've got to do a little bit more work. There's enough of the cotter pin sticking out that I didn't get off yet that that socket won't go on. So if I can get the vice grips and break it off or something, or at least bend it up into the channel there. Might have got it bent up into the channel enough to, yeah, that feels like it's almost broken off. Try this again. inch on the other side to hold it. So it's 11/16 on the castle nut side, and the head side of the bolt is 5/8. And that one came off too. Awesome. And it's a good thing I checked the camera at this point because I got 2 minutes left on the battery. Time to switch it out. Okay, the second bolt didn't quite come out of that mount as easily as the first one did, but it wasn't hard. I just had to put a little pressure on it because it was binding. I had to move this around and just get it to come off. Okay. Now the snubber bushing are at least consistent because the head of the bolt is 5/8 and the nut on the bottom is 11/16. So okay, there's a washer that's on there that just fell. Actually, I caught it. And another little lock washer on the bottom of the bolt. It helped to have a 5/8 deep socket up the top there because otherwise the plug might have been in the way. So that's disconnected. The bracket, and there's the bushing. This actually looks pretty good, but I'm probably going to replace it with polyurethane. So I am going to shut off the camera now, and before I do, I will show you kind of how I have the differential supported. It's on the bridge jack. Bridge jack wouldn't go up quite high enough to support the differential without having some extra boards in there to make up for the height I needed, because that differential is mounted on the top of this kick up on the frame, and so it's pretty high. So what I am going to do is probably clean up a little bit of the tools because I got a bunch of them laying here and I'm getting disorganized. But after that, I'm actually going to lower the lift so I can get to the top of the bolts that hold that on. And as I take those bolts out, I've just put this, it's not quite level, so the one side is just touching, the other side is a little bit off, and as I loosen the bolts, it'll just drop down onto that pile of lumber there. Hopefully it's going to be balanced and I won't need to do anything else, but I may have to support the front of it a little bit so that it doesn't fall off of there. We don't want that happening. So I'm looking at the top of the differential now. I added this 4x4 here to catch it if it should tip. It wouldn't go too far now. And I've got a light showing one of two holes that are in this cross member here. And those are what hold the differential up to the cross member. Now, I have heard some people say that they've cut holes in their floor in the back to get those out to change the differential. That's really not necessary because this cross member is held on. There's two bushings right there, and on the bottom side of them there's one bolt each holding that each side of that cross member on the bushings. So if you ever heard that you have to do that to take out the differential, that's not true. You just have to take off that cross member and take it down with the differential in order to get it out with the body on the car. So a 5/8 inch deep socket is just what you need in order to get those bolts out. I guess I'd be a little closer to it if I went in from the back, but it's not an excessive reach here. It was easier to put this on the bolt and then put the impact wrench on. Okay, one more. I'm going to try to take that out a little bit slowly with the impact wrench. Okay, that went on easy with the socket on the impact wrench. I can see the differential dropping a bit as I take that out, and there the differential is disconnected. So now I'm going to raise the lights back up, and I'll be able to slowly lower the differential. I may have to either shift this a little bit, or there you go. Good point. This was going to interfere with the bracket on the frame, but all I had to do was rotate the yoke, and it will clear now. Before whoops, you didn't see what I was referring to. So right there where the yoke connects to the drive shaft, it was going to run into the bracket on the frame. This is the bracket. All I had to do was rotate it, and now it will just slide right over the bracket as I lower the jack. Before I put the lift up though, I'm going to fish the remaining washers, and well, all 4 bolts are out. I'm going to fish the remaining washers out of those holes. So that I can attach them to the differential again, so I know where they go. What I'm going to do now is lower that differential very slowly and carefully, because unfortunately to lower the bridge jack I need both hands on it. One for the safety catch to avoid it from engaging, and one on the knob to slowly lower it. So hopefully it goes smoothly. It's just not tilting onto that extra 4x4 that I added, so no problem there, but a good thing I added it. Got away from me a little bit, but no harm, no foul. Now I'm going to have to clear off my ramps because I want to slide that toward the back. And hopefully I'm still strong enough to pick up a differential. The last time I did it, I was. But that was a long time ago. So there we have a differential balanced on the bridge jack and some lumber. And I'm going to try to slide it to the end of the lift. This might be fun because it's quickly close to 400 pounds. Does not want to slide. see if I can actually lift this up, move it to the ramp here. Some of those boards are going to fall. Good thing I got my boots on. And steel toes and metatarsal. Pretty, but I got the job done. Now all I got to do is move it over to the workbench. By the way, none of those boards actually hit me. Okay, I kind of cheated. I got my roller cart, a couple of 4x4s, and slid it off of the ramp from the lift and put it on the roller cart. And now I'm going to wheel it over to there, get this out of the way, and just push it off of the cart. About an inch to get it onto the bench. Like I said, the last time I did that, I was able to just pick that up and carry it. Now, I don't know if I could. When I kind of lifted it up to test, I thought maybe, but then I also thought, what am I going to do if I get over there and it's about 2 inches too low and I can't lift it up anymore? So that's how you get it onto the bench when you're not as strong as you used to be. I haven't yet removed the strut rod mount from the bottom of the differential. It's attached with a couple bolts, maybe as many as 4, I don't know offhand. But I want to take note of its orientation in terms of which side's the front, which side's the back. There's a little hole drilled in it right down there that is in the front, and also the front of the thing scoots out towards the front. So you want to be making absolutely certain that you don't put that in backwards. It probably would make a big difference in your alignment in the back. And it's 4 bolts holding that on. So as I've said before, this is the differential mount, and there's 2 bushings in here held on by 2 bolts that I'm going to go and remove now. And what I'll do is I'll remove them both all the way, and then I'll put them back in, because as I pry this thing off, it's not going to go anywhere whenever I just disconnect the bolts. But when I pry this thing off, I want the bolts to catch it, and then I'll remove the bolts and take the cross member off. Unfortunately, the trailing arms are kind of in the way of this. Let's see if we can get some more light on the subject, and there we go. That's a little better. You can at least see this end of it. I have a 5/8 socket on my impact wrench, set to remove. Put good light on it. The bolts aren't that long. Start this back up in here so I can get the socket off. I don't know if you saw that, but we're going to do it on the other side now. That one I know is in the camera frame. Again, taking it all the way out so that you know it's not going to be stuck whenever we get this thing loose. And these can be a bit of a bear to disconnect. I'm going to put that in a little bit more because I want to be absolutely certain that when that falls, it catches it. But I want to make sure that it's got room to fall so I can tell that it's actually disconnected. And I'll do the same thing on the other side. Getting this to pop out is a combination of beating on it maybe with hammers and getting in here with pry bars. There's one. And like I wanted, the bolt was holding it. Looks like it's moving some. There's the second one. So a little bit of work, but once you got it off like that and it's loose, I can remove the bolts. I'm going to do this with the impact wrench to make it quick so I don't have to hold this for a long time. One. I'll have to hold the weight of the thing, try to get it balanced. And there is the differential mount. Before I get out from under the lift, I'm probably going to put some boring time in the video, but I'm going to put these bolts back where they belong so that I don't lose them. Now, the last time I did my 74, I didn't replace the bushings in that mount because they look pretty good. And just at a quick glance at these from what I saw in trying to take them out, and a quick glance at them whenever I actually took it off, they look like they're in very good condition. So they can kind of be a pain to replace. But like I said, these look to be in good condition. I'll examine them some more now and then some more before I decide whether or not, you know, these are in very good condition. Very good. And they can be difficult to get out. Hopefully it's in the frame, but there's a bunch of metal tabs here that hold it in. And I'm sure that you have to bend those enough so that you can push it out from what is the top of it, because that's the top. And then press another one back in and bend tabs over to hold it in place. But that looks like those can go a lot further. I hope you saw it. Let me back this off again and tip that up again just in case the tabs weren't in the frame whenever I was talking about it. All these metal tabs here, 8 of them. You have to bend those, drive it out, and then put it back in from the top, and bend the tabs back over. Okay. I guess it finally occurred to me last night as I was uploading the videos for the removal of the differential. This bracket that holds the strut rods is only connected by 4 bolts. If I had taken that off, I would have had a better swing at the nuts holding the U-bolts that hold on the half shafts. So I cost myself some time and effort. I'll probably post this in 2 places, probably at the beginning of the trailing arm removal, because that's where I am right now, and hopefully I can connect it somehow in the video for the removal of the differential.